Yo, what's good? Today's story time takes place beginning of 10th grade. I was 15, just going into sophomore year, and at this time of my life, I don't know what it was, but I was a little shithead, to put it to put it lightly. Um, Maybe it was, 8th grade ended. I'm sure, most people my age remember. We got like 2 weeks off because COVID had just started, and then that turned into all of freshman year being online. It was like all Zoom classes. Pretty sure all of you remember all that online bullshit. I don't really gotta go into detail on that. But yeah, all of freshman year was online. So that meant sophomore year was my first year going back to in person. Going to in person school, being there. Actually in person, not on the fucking Zoom camera. But then also it was my first year in high school. So I don't know. I wasn't the best at math, but I feel like those two factors added up to me having some different priorities when I went back to school. Those priorities being, you know, having fun, getting myself into a lot of situations that I shouldn't have been in. And today's story time is actually about one of those stupid situations I got myself into. But before I get into today's story, I just have to say, don't go doing any of the stupid shit I talk about in this video. Don't get yourself in trouble. Don't do anything I talk about in this video. It's not worth it. I don't recommend, doing what I did at my age. But I actually highly derecommend it. How do you say that? Anyway, my point is, don't go doing anything you hear me say. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Don't do anything I talk about. All the shit I did at that age, it's just not worth it. But that's how the dice rolled for me. Can't do anything about the past, but it does make for some good story times, I will say that. And yeah, let's get right into it. So this story begins during lunch on one of these days during the beginning of the first semester, like literally the year. I'm pretty sure the year just started, like first few months of 10th grade. So the lunch bell rang. I left whatever class I was in. I met up with my friend Phoenix. We were walking around the school, talking about what we were going to do after school, probably some shit like that. And me and Phoenix run into our friend Owen. And Owen, Owen was with one of his friends who I didn't know. And he was with another friend who me, Phoenix, and Owen, we all knew. This friend was a year older than us, and his name was Alex. So we meet up, we dap each other up. We're all like, what's good? How's everyone's day going? Blah, blah, blah. So Owen and Alex bring up something about this spot, right? This spot that's in the school. It's like an exploration spot from what they said. I don't remember exactly what they said, but it was something along those lines, right? They found this spot that we could go explore, and it was in the school. And they asked if we wanted to go check it out. So me and Phoenix were like, yeah, why not? We ain't got anything else to do. We got nothing better to do. And yeah, we followed them past some buildings to like one of the buildings that led up to another section of classrooms, right? Now, right by the staircase of that building, there was like, I don't know how to explain it, but so there was the building, right? And then there was this like door. It was almost like a trap door, but on like the bottom of the wall. That's a good way of saying it. So there's this little like square cutout trap door on the bottom of the wall. And Owen's like, yo, it's in here. So he opens up the door, and immediately I can see it's like this underground like room. From looking outside, it just looks like this little like underground room. There was a bunch of dirt on the ground, and it looked like it was like this room that was under the building or whatever. So he's like, all right, it's in here, follow me. So Owen gets down on all fours. He crawls in there, and then Alex goes in there, and then Owen's friend, who I didn't know. So all three of them go in. Then Phoenix is like, alright, I guess I'm going next. So he crawls in there, and then I was the last one, so I crawl in there. And yeah, oh, one more thing I forgot to mention. So on that staircase that led up to the classrooms, right, there was like a group of kids eating lunch or something. And Owen was like, yo, we're going under there. Don't say anything, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yeah, whatever, it's cool. So, we all go under there. Owen, like, closes the door, right? Like, slightly. Leaving it open enough so we can get back out. So we can open it from the inside. So, picture it like this. I go from being outside in the school open grounds to crawling into this little crawl space, right? Through this door. And now there's this huge room with, like, I don't know what you call those, but, like, I guess pillars that would hold up the, like, roof of that underground spot, which was the floor of the building. So we're inside this little room. It's super dirty. It's, like, super old. It's like some urban exploration, like, abandoned shit, right? But it was under the school. So we go under there, and he's like, yo, the room we were talking about, it's over here. So we have to crawl, like, in between these pillars, all, like, duck down. I was kind of short at the time, so I didn't have to duck down as much as everyone else. And yeah, so we get through these pillars. There's this like another door opening, right? But it's not a door. It's like just a cutout square, kind of like if the trap door didn't have that closing of the building. So it's just a square. We crawl through that into deeper, more of this underground room. And then after that, there was one more like square cutout, and then there was some going other ways. But the two on the other sides going other ways were like blocked off by pipes and underground building shit. So we go through the one forward. We go through the next little cutout. And we get into that room. And there is like, I don't know if you guys have ever been into any abandoned buildings or urban exploration, that type of stuff. There were like graffiti tags, all types of shit that like, okay, people have been in there before, right? There was like an old desk. No, that was later. So there's this little like wooden table, right? And okay, I'm trying to think what else was in the room. So there's this little wooden like block table in the middle, and a checkerboard on the side. And Owen put this like old like checkerboard on top. Now, there was like student tags and stuff like that. There was an old pack of cigarettes in there and some old chairs. Oh, and there was also this old like vintage, it must have been from like the 90s or maybe early 2000s, of like the school mascot, but it was like a plushie. It was like the school mascot's like stuffed animal from like the 90s or some shit, dude. Yeah, it was this old vintage thing. So what that meant was we were not the first students to discover that place. But as far as we knew, we were the only ones currently who knew about it. So, we're in there, we're checking it out. I have a video of that. I'll probably put it on the screen, I don't know. But, yeah, we're videoing it all. You know what, I'll put it on the screen right now.
It's recorded while we end this, bro.
Is this a mini?
Shut the fuck up. I swear to God, there's yelling.
Yeah, so it turns out there wasn't any yelling. No teacher came down there or anything like that. My friend was just being paranoid. A lot of you can probably guess why he was being paranoid. I'm not going to say much about that, but yeah, a lot of you can probably guess why. So, we finished what we were doing there, checking out the room, all that. And it's almost time for lunch. Lunch is almost over. So, we head out. We leave through the door. And as we're coming out, my friend Owen is like, yo, check this out. And he's showing me like this old like Christmas edition Coca-Cola can, and on the bottle it says it's from like the 1960s. So yeah, that was pretty cool. So yeah, after that we all went on with our days, and that day, the rest of that day was pretty normal. Now, a few days later, or like a week later, this is where the main event of the story time really kicks off and starts to happen. So I'm gonna get into that next. So, it's another day at school, kind of similar to that day. You know, everything up to this point was pretty normal. I got up out of bed, showered, brushed my teeth, ate breakfast, and I walked to school. I lived right down the hill from the high school I was going to at that time. So yeah, it's pretty easy for me. Woke up pretty late, did all my stuff in the morning, and I walked to school. So lunchtime rolls around again, and okay, maybe this was like 2 weeks later, something like that. Cause our friends Phoenix and Alex weren't in school as much because they were both transferring. Hold on, there's a plane going over my head. Anyways, that was annoying. But yeah, our friends Phoenix and Alex, they were transferring to an online charter program, which I ended up going to later that year. But yeah, so they weren't in person as much. They were working on getting to their new school. So me and my friend Caden, who I met later on in the year, me, Caden, and Owen decided to go into the school that day. It was lunch again, like last time. And we were like, yeah, you know what? We're bored. Why not? So, we tell the kids we're going under there. It was like the same group of kids, too. I guess that was just their spot to eat lunch, kick it out lunch. We're like, yo, we're going under there. Just keep a lookout on the door. And yeah, they're like, yeah, sure. Cool, whatever. So we go in there. Same thing as last time. I think I was the last one to go in there again. So we get in there. And we crawl into that room. And my friend Owen, he whips out this little plastic one-hitter, it wasn't a pipe, it was more like this really shitty quality bong, right? But it was like a little one-hitter that was like plastic, and it had a little shitty metal, bowl, and then the carb. So he's like, y'all trying to take some bowls down here? Now looking back, I probably should have remembered, hey, I'm at school. I got classes after this. But in the moment, we were underneath the school, in our little room, and we were like, you know what? Yeah, why not? Why not? Why not? So we all take turns passing around this little shitty-ass plastic one-hitter. We're all smoking out of it. And this is what our plan was, right? This was our thought process. Was that, so the lunch bell would ring, right? And we would go out the door then, like the trap door that led back into school, like back into the open grounds. So the plan was we would go out that door right when the lunch bell rang. That way we could blend in with the crowd of kids and go to our next class. And I guess what made me and my friend Caden even more comfortable about doing this was we had the same class after this. So we were like, you know what, even if we get super baked, super fried, it'll be all good. We're going to the same class. We got each other. So we take turns, hitting this shitty one-hitter. We're all smoking out of it. And it's 10 minutes till the lunch bell rings. So we're all sitting there. Pretty blasted, pretty fried out of our minds, I will say. Just, taking in what's going on. Looking at this underground crevice under the school. And we're just like, damn. This is crazy. We're making history in this school. There was kids before us smoking cigarettes down here. Now look at us passing around this little one-hitter. We thought we were the shit, man. We really thought we ran the school back then. Good times. Anyway, good days. Anyway, so 10 minutes is left. We're all just kicking back. And Owen's like, you know what? I'm going to leave this one-hitter here on this shelf in this room. In that room at the end, the final one we went in. So he leaves it there, and we start getting ready. We're zipping up our bags, all that, and we're heading back through those pillars and all the other rooms, and we're getting to the end. So then we get to the final part where you leave through the door, right? And it's I think by this point it was 6, almost 5 minutes until lunch was over, something like that. And some dick-ass kid, bro, some dickhead-ass kid, some motherfucker, or maybe it was a teacher, I have no idea. But someone kicked the door shut. Like, we were just about to leave, blend in with the crowd. Me and Kaden were going to go to our class. Owen was going to go to his. And someone just said, nope. Kicks the door, slams it shut. And Owen's, like, trying to get it open. And it's, like, jammed. It's stuck. And we're all like, fuck. Anyway, Owen's like, alright, hold on. This is the plan. We're going to wait for the lunch bell to ring. That way there will be no one, passing up the building stairs to go to their class. There will be no one in the area. And his plan was to, like, just full on put all his force and, like, burst through that little trap door to get back into the open grounds. So we're all like, you know what, yeah, that sounds like the best plan move from here forward. So we're there waiting. We're sitting there. The lunch bell rings, which meant it was time to go to our next class. And it was like, we slowly over time gradually started hearing less and less kids, less and less footsteps, all that. We were listening, like, trying to figure out when was the best time to leave. Because Owen literally had to burst through this door, and we didn't want to risk, blowing up the spot. So eventually, like, 5 minutes go by after the bell rings. We don't hear anyone out there. And Owen bursts through the door. We all get our bags. We all get out. We dap each other up. We're like, good shit. That could have gone a lot worse. Owen goes on to his class. And me and Kaden go on to mine. And something about the shock of what just happened, I completely forgot I was stoned, dude. Like, I was still pretty high at this time. Keep in mind, we had smoked, like, 15, 20 minutes ago, something like that. Yeah, like 20 minutes, because 15 to 20 minutes ago we smoked, right? And I don't know if you guys ever have dabbled with weed, but when you get, like, a shock of, like, a new situation, sometimes you forget you're high, and you're, like, more, your attention or, like, your awareness is more in the situation of what's going on, right? So we're finally back. Me and Kaden are like, alright, let's go to our class. We're walking to our class, and we're starting to feel the weed again. So we get into class. We were the last ones there, obviously. Everyone else was already in their seats. We walk in, and our teacher's like, Finn and Kaden, you guys are 5 minutes late. The bell already rang. Class started 5 minutes ago. And we're like, yeah, we're sorry. And he was like, you guys haven't been on time in this class recently. This has happened a few other times. And yeah, that was true. But this was the first time we'd ever, been late because we were doing something we shouldn't have been. So, but I don't know what it was. Something about this weed strain, man. I was so laid back. It didn't even really bother me what he was telling me. So I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. It won't happen again. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna mark you guys late and sit down. So me and Kaden, we go to our table. We were sitting at the same table, or it was single seats, but there were like groups, like there would be 4 single seats together or something like that. Anyway, me and Kaden, we sat. It was I think Kaden sat right in front of me. So we go to our seats, and we sat out that class high as fuck. Now, if my teacher of that class, if you know what I'm talking about and you know who you are, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, I really tried in school. I don't know what it was. I don't want to call myself dumb or anything, but I was really struggling that year. And, yeah, we enjoyed the rest of that day. And yeah, now, I actually have a few more story times about the underground spot at the school. We actually ended up doing some more upgrades and modifications, if you will, to that spot to make it the legendary smoke spot of the underground high school, whatever you want to call it. We really thought we were the shit, man. But, yeah, it was really dirty down there. We had to wear masks and stuff, so we wouldn't inhale all that. Anyway, if you guys want to hear more stories about this, let me know. I definitely have a few more ideas of a few more story times I'll be adding to this channel. But if you guys want to hear about the future events of this spot, let me know. Let's get this video to let's say 100 likes, because this is the first story time I've ever done. If this video gets 100 likes, I'll start working on, the future stories of this spot and more stoner stories of this underground school spot we found. Let me tell you, we made that spot ours. We ended up upgrading the shit out of that. Anyway, my first song drops tonight, 9 p.m. I think I'm gonna have this video go up at like the same time or something like that, maybe 8:30, something like that. Go check out my new song that's dropping tonight, and let me know if you guys want more story times. I've been through a lot of stupid shit, and yeah, peace.